Okay, so again, just some conceptual stuff. Most of you have probably seen some of the TED Talks. A guy named Simon Sinek. He's got some books out and talks about this kind of stuff about, you know, all great corporations, businesses and stuff like that. They're successful not just because of what they make or what they do or how they do it, but their whys behind it. So we as coaches, same type of thought process. Why do we train them the way we train them? Why do we practice them the way we practice them? So we know now, and you've always known it. You knew it when you were a little kid out on the playground and somebody was getting away from you or you couldn't catch them or that type of thing. Or we've known it as coaches. We can see it in every sport that we work with. And now with all the GPS and all this other data feedback type of thing, we know that the number one factor in elite athleticism, regardless of sport or activity, is the ability to burst, surge, or accelerate. So that should be our why. As I mentioned yesterday, I work with a lot of distance and middle distance runners now, 800 meter, 1500 meter people. Most of the 5 out of the 10 that I was in the Rio Olympics with were middle distance and above. But they don't even come close to the medal stand unless they have this ability. They could have the greatest cardiovascular system in the world and can run miles and miles and miles, but at some point in time to make the medal stand or to win, you've got to distance yourself away from somebody else or you got to catch somebody else. So the ability to burst, surge, as we call it in distance running, surge and accelerate is the key. Obviously on all field sports, court sports, that type of thing. So that's our why. The how is what are we doing on a very consistent basis to rehearse these abilities. I call them straight line stick figure abilities. We'll get into more perceptual definitions of that there. But maybe the biggest thing, and you know, I may offend some people in here, that's okay. I offended myself 20 years ago when I was watching, because I did the gassers, I did the long shuttle runs, I did all that kind of stuff, and I'm looking, and what I'm seeing is not this, and not what I wanted to see on Saturday afternoons or Saturday evenings on a football field or a basketball court or those kind of things. So now the biggest what is what we do not want to do that hinders us from staying to this why from that standpoint. And so that's kind of the things that we're going to work on. And the progressions are always, we'll start with a walk tempo version of it. Then the big bread and butter part for me is going to a skip tempo version of it. And then finally to whether it's a sprint or a shuffle or a backpedal or something like that. But we always progress along these lines. Am I using straight line stick figures? And the other thing that you can see, you don't have to have a fantastic experienced coach's eye to understand that good acceleration, good burst, good surge, the knees move farther apart than the feet do. If I'm driving over in this direction and you see me throw my foot out like this, now you know I'm not really accelerating. I'm going to land and then I'm going to have to pull my hip where I need to go. But if you saw it where this knee drove out, so now the knees are farther apart than the feet, now I'm getting hip projection. And that's what true surge and acceleration is a projection of the hips very efficiently where you need to go. And those are the kind of things we're just going to try to get a feel for as we're here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to line up here along this sideline. And so first you say, well, why the sideline and why not there at the goal line? Because I don't want you to worry about how many yards you're going. I want you to just get a feel for that you're pushing your hips whatever distance we go. We're going to go out and finish somewhere around these numbers, start or end of the numbers. That's where we're going to stop doing whatever drill that we're doing. So the first things we're going to do are actually warm-up drills. If you came and watched us train athletes and watched us work out, you would see this be the first things that happen in a warm-up. But I don't even like the term warm-up. I keep going back to rehearsal. What are we rehearsing? Because a lot of people, what their warm-up is doesn't appear to be anything like what their technical skills on a field or a court should be. So the first warm-up drill or rehearsal drill is what we call a top of the head drill. We want the top of the head to get as close to the ceiling as possible without us completely leaving the ground. So what that means is I've got to get as high up on the toe, get everything extended, get the hip locked out so that my top of the head can be close to the ceiling. I have to have good posture. I can't have a slunky posture to do that. The other part is I'm going to take, when we did a little bit of this in the warm-up with dose this morning, is I'm going to grab this knee and pull it as tight to the chest as possible. So now I have maximum extension on one side, maximum flexion on the other. So we just call this top of the head drill knee grab. And again, I'm trying to get the top of my head, the whole straight line stick figure action down this direction. Give it a try. Good. Excellent. You did that warm-up style. And here's what I mean by that. So everybody did a great job of getting to that position, and then you just let yourself out of it. But in true acceleration, it's not what you're doing on the way up. I use the term, that's just the foreplay. The real sex is what you're doing on the way down. So on the way back, you're going to do the same drill. And I kind of led you into that because I didn't do it as like I really want it done. Now it's like you have to attack the ground. You're practicing burst and acceleration even in this first rehearsal drill. Give it a try. Attack the ground from above. Good. Oh, and by the way, that warms you up better too. Okay, now we're going to do it again. Top of the head drill number 2. I'm still walking towards you. It's still a straight line thing for me, but instead of the knee coming up to the chest, I want to bring it out and up into my ear as close as possible. I'm still attacking the ground from above. So I want to get high up on the toe, top of the head to the ceiling, but then bring it right back down. So the way when I'm working with young kids, I say it's like you're on a big log. Don't just let the foot fall because you slide off the log. You got to come back to the top of the log and attack and go from there. Give it a try. Good. Excellent. So, and then the other thing that's a part of this is now we're also rehearsing what you want to do when you're, so the top of the head drill knee grab was rehearsing good straight ahead acceleration mechanics. This is rehearsing good, get the hips projected laterally here. If I have to make a power cut somewhere or do that type of thing, that's what it's rehearsing there. Remember, when you do bring that knee up, the toe should be up. That helps the hinge of the hip. If you try to do it ballerina style, then you're going to lose that knee lift and hinge of the hip. Try it one more time on the way back. Attack the ground. Toe up, knee up, hip up. Toe up, knee up, hip up. Excellent. Awesome. The last top of the head drill is what we call march. Okay, and we did a little bit of that in the warm-up with dose as well. Again, it's just preparing yourself to negotiate the ground properly. So the hands are at eye level. The same side foot will touch the same side hand. But once the foot touches the hand, it's what you're doing. You're whipping from the hip from that standpoint. So it's here. Still trying to get the top of the head as close to the ceiling as possible. Every step is a sprinter's step. So so all the more reason now I want to get this hip tilted up like so that when I whip this foot back down, it actually comes down and not out from that standpoint. Give it a try. High up on the toe, whip from the hip. Excellent. Excellent. And so these 3 simple, again, if you want to call them warm-up drills, I call them rehearsal drills, have just gotten us ready to do everything that might happen on this field or any other field or a court or a track or that type of thing. We rehearsed the mechanics behind acceleration forward, movements and accelerations laterally, and then also top speed stuff where you get up and you truly, and it is a whip from the hip. We talk a lot about the posterior chain, and it's true. It's a big thing. But what kind of chain do you want it to be? Do you want it to be a big, bulky chain that holds something down, or do you want it to be a chain like on a motorcycle or a chainsaw? That's the true chain, that's the true whip and be able to use your chain, your posterior chain from there. So that's how we train it with just these simple activities here. On the way back, we're going to change gears a little bit and we're going to crawl. Similar to, again, what Dose was showing us in the warm-up there, but it's got a different flavor to it in terms of all good fast accelerated sprinters such tilt the hip to get the movement going. Okay? What we mean by hip tilt is if you look at Usain Bolt, if he's running straight at you and he's running a world record, you're going to see better hip tilt at the beginning of this swing phase of his sprint than if he wasn't running that fast, or if a poor runner would. The tilt of the hip is what keeps the heel from doing that. Okay? So again, when I was doing all that longer running and the guys were just trying to survive the run, we were not getting any of that kind of work at all. All we were getting was just the foot lands, this leg's way back here. You can watch it, you can see plenty of light in between the legs. That wasn't helping anybody do anything well on a field. But if we get hip tilt first, you never see that space. When I'm moving fast in acceleration or even in top speed, if this foot lands and I've got this hip tilt, this knee is either even or ahead of this other leg. So you've lost that gap there, which is a good thing. So anyway, to get back to the crawling, I just want to practice that hip tilt. So it'll be hands on the ground, push the heels into the ground. Some people call this elephant walk. The only way that I rotate forward is to get that hip to tilt. Give it a try. Excellent. Push the heel into the ground. So it's more of what's happening at the hip, not what's happening at the feet. Excellent. And you can feel that. Okay? So now we're going to walk back out to the numbers, but instead of crawling, what I want you to do is I want your hips to stay ahead. So if I start behind this line, the first thing that crosses the line is my hips, and you're going to do the same exercise, but never let the foot get ahead of the hips. So Coach, how am I going to get down there if I don't let the foot get ahead of the hips? Is by tilting. Tilt, tilt, tilt. Give it a try. There. Excellent. Awesome. Okay, just stroll back, grab a drink if you need to grab a drink. We're going to kind of start to pick up the pace slightly here. Okay, we're going to continue walking out to the numbers, but this is how we're going to do it now. We're going to do it with acceleration mechanics. Some people call this a walk. Okay? So what should happen is if I'm doing this correctly for you, as you watch me do this, you should see my knees driving apart, and when I'm in that knee drive apart, you see a good straight line stick figure. You don't see me leaving my hips behind. So it's walking, it's a walk tempo, but I'm still aggressively driving the knees apart and driving the foot back down in the ground. So when I hit this foot back down the ground, there's always a positive shin angle, and there's always the hip being pushed in the next direction. Give it a try. Excellent. Excellent. So now, not everybody, especially you guys did a better job than usually when I'm doing this with the athletes. So if some of them having trouble, they're still here. They're still leaving, they still have this action, that type of thing. So sometimes what we'll do is we'll have them partner up. So go ahead and partner up. Everybody got a partner? Okay, so he's my partner. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand right in the middle of his chest and have him do the same exercise. Well, I'm just going to give him a little bit of resistance. Go ahead. Go ahead and pump those elbows. There we go. So now all of a sudden there's nothing, he's not leaving his hips behind. He's not letting the foot fall. He can't let the foot fall because then he won't be able to put any pressure against my hand. Give it a try. Excellent. Good. So that's a good way. Switch places. The other guy working on the way back. I'll just go let you try it again. So. Good. Drive those knees right into my chest. There. Excellent. Excellent. Good. That's a good way. You guys can share that one. You guys can share that one. You guys can share that one. We'll share this one. But the better way, you want to get good hip projection, load the hips. So now all I do, you don't need anything fancy. This is just shoulder pad strapping. All right. Walk, walking, a walk. Here we go. Come on, take me somewhere. There we go. Good. So, and let me just do that for me. Okay, now let's go that way so everybody can see. So one thing is make sure the strap is on the hips, not up here on the stomach, not down here on the legs. We're trying to project the hips, so have the load be on the hips. That's even, you see plenty of sleds and stuff like that that's up here, but the same thing can happen. I can leave my hips behind. You want to project the hips? Load the hips. But now, if I don't drive the knees apart, you could just stand there all day, huh? I got no pressure in that direction. So the whole idea is, again, how do I get this guy to come with me? I've got to finish pushing, driving, tilt the hip, extend at the hip, drive the knees apart. That's the only way I can get that thing going, okay? Whenever you're ready. Good. That's it. Good. Good straight line stick figure. Excellent. Good. There you go. Excellent job. Excellent straight line stick figures. Oh, that was good. You must have made you mad or something. Did everybody get a chance to try it and feel it? Okay. You guys didn't have a chance yet? Go ahead. Go for it. Good. Don't let your chin be down so much. There you go. Now. Good. There you go. That's it. Go ahead and drive those elbows back. That helps you. Yeah, see how the knees drive forward better when you have a little more elbow drive back? Okay, now, without the straps, without the help of your partner, go a walk back by yourself and see if you can still hit those same positions. There's nobody to hold you back. There's nobody to help your posture. Good. Excellent. All right, now, it's time to progress to skip, okay? So again, if we keep that same mindset, burst, accelerate, project the hips mindset, then most of the skips you've seen before, we got to throw in the trash bin, right? So what am I? I'm not projecting my hips, am I? So we want to treat skipping just like we treated walking there. So my version of a skip is what we call sprinter's skip or sprinter's skate. So the only reason it's skipping is because the foot slides on the ground as you're working that hip projection. Looks something like so. Give it a try. Good. Excellent. So try it one more time, and it's the bottom of your foot that scrapes, not the toe. I'll explain that on the way after you get back. Well, go ahead. The bottom of your foot scrapes. Skip, skip, skip. Yeah. So really all we've done is taken this and applied more hip projection to it. Another way you can think about it is it's a speed bound where you're exaggerating the foot staying close to the ground. Several reasons for that. One, once they get this skip, because you cannot leave your hips behind and do this skip. You can't be here, right? You've got to do all the things we're talking about straight line stick figure to do this skip. And so once they get it, oh, that's what you mean by hip projection, hip propulsion. Yes, that's what we mean. Oh, that's what you mean by driving the knees apart. Yes. The other part to it is in acceleration mechanics, just like we're talking about, we want to get that hip tilted so this never happens. The good old Fred Flintstone roll out of it. Cycling the foot around kills acceleration. So some people go to great lengths. You've probably seen or have actually even used the whole toe drag thing. Some people call it the Jamaican toe drag, but there were people doing the toe drag, coaches using the toe drag long before Asafa Powell or Usain experimented with that type of thing. All it was an external focus mechanism to keep them from cycling around out of the blocks. But toe dragging is decelerating when we really want to accelerate. So how can we get them to not cycle around, drive through, and not have that negative backside mechanic? Well, that's the skate part of it. So when we don't have spikes on or cleats on or things like that, we practice this skate or sprinter skip, and then when they do have those things on, they've already worked piston mechanics versus pendulum mechanics, okay? So thinking along those lines, this speed bounding or scrape and drive, scrape and drive, scrape and drive, give it another try. You've got it. Excellent. Yep. And it's a self-corrector. If you have a tendency to cast the foot out, you don't do it. You can't do the skip. Again, if you leave your hips behind, you can't do the skip. The only way you're able to get this done is to get the straight line stick figure deals. So we can do the same thing though. Rather than just pull the straps out, I'll just use him as an example. He's already doing it really well, but I can just load, if I just grab his shirt and load his hips a little bit, go ahead, go on the way back. So all that does is just get him to feel that push more. So go ahead and help your partner, and all you got to do is like the first 3 or 4 steps so they get good push mechanics, and then we go. That was a nice job. Good. There you go. Drive the knees apart. Yep, just get going. Yep, there, now you're getting it. Now the only thing that's happening with you is you're getting to the right positions, but then you're letting the foot slide back instead of keeping the hips moving forward. Does that make sense? Yeah, don't let the foot slide back. Good. Okay, walk on back. So we went from walking to skipping, and now we're going to go to true accelerating. So we'll do the same thing Lee did this morning. We're just going to get our toes up against the line. We're going to lean, we're going to fall, and we're going to run or accelerate. The idea behind that is the hips should be the first thing to cross the line. Not my shoulders, not my foot. The hips should be the first, and then once I have the hips going first, can I keep them out there going first, drive through? Give it a try. That's it. Good. Good. Walk over to the wall for a quick second. Most all of you have done the wall drill. The idea behind the wall drill is if this wall is falling on us, and I want to be the hero and save all you guys, I got to get into a position where I've got constant tension. If I lose any tension at all, the wall is going to fall. Okay? So, if you're watching, if my chin goes down into my chest, if I'm one of those guys that's looking at the ground, where do my hips go? They go back, I've lost tension. If I if I let the heel be back behind me, my knee's not driving apart from the other knee, I lose tension. If I drive the knee out there, but I let the foot get out of the head, I lose tension. So all these things keep me from projecting my hips down the track or the field. So now what you're going to do is you're going to get with your partner. I'm actually going to put my hand here. You're my partner. And go ahead and get into those positions. And I want to feel constant tension. I want to be mad at you because you're smashing my hand so much. And then try switching. How quickly can you switch without losing any tension against my hand? Give it a try. You can switch. Switch, good. And you got to give them feedback. Hey, you're not smashing my hand at all. Yeah, good. Good. Okay, now, if everybody got a chance to do that, try that again, and let's try to smash your partner's hand, but do the good old butt kick drill. Try the good old butt kick drill and keep trying to smash your partner's hand. Doesn't happen, does it? The wall's going to fall if we use those kind of mechanics. Exactly. Yeah. There's no pressure. There's no tension. Okay? But it's the same thing even if I don't have you do that drill, if I just have you be here and do running here, if you're not really switching, if you're one of those people that has to kind of cycle the foot around each time, you're going to lose. Your partner's going to be here like, when's the next meal or something? It gives you no pressure against there. Okay, now keep that same concept, go back out and do the lean fall run with that same concept. One more thing, I'm sorry. I'll do it from here. The other part about it, most all of you did it, but again, when you're coaching and watching people, if I'm way up on this toe, I'm not able to keep the same pressure. I got to have more foot into the ground to keep this same kind of pressure. Because that's the other common mistake that guys make when they're accelerating, is you don't want to be back on your heel, but you want to get as much of the forefront of your foot into the ground as possible. If you're on your toes, you never get to that total hip lock from there. So again, apply that to the lean fall run. But now that we've done the lean fall run, now we'll begin to do other things. I'm going to backtrack just a second, go back to walk tempo, because now we apply the same concepts laterally. We'll just walk out to the numbers. Everybody's going to face that wall there, and it's just push with this leg, let this knee drive out, and exaggerate, push. It's just this walking push laterally. Give it a try. Don't reach with the foot. Just drive the knee. Yeah, so if you see me go in this direction, I don't want to see this. Same concepts apply. Feet farther apart than the knees, I'm not really projecting the hips. So you never see this foot kick out. It's just knee drives out, knees drive apart. Try that on the way back. Then you get hip projection. Good. Okay, and then the same thing. Now we move to skip. And it's like a holy crap moment again with this too, because a lateral skip means I got to push twice with this leg before this foot comes back to the ground. So I'm an old school guy. I had to take polka dancing when I was in graduate school PE and all that. So if you're not good at polka dancing, it's just a right, left, or excuse me, left, right, left, right, papa, if you don't know what polka dancing is. So anyway, I got to push twice. Push, gather, push, gather, push, gather, push, gather, push, gather, push, gather. Give it a try. There you go. He's got it. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Good. So again, like the other skipping, you cannot get away without pushing and driving the knee. If you throw this foot out, doesn't work. If you're not in a good set posture, on the way back, it's right, left, push, gather, push, gather, push. Get your hips going. Give it a try. There you go, nice. Good try, that was good. So now we can do all kinds of whatever we need to do. We can shuffle, drop step, everything, because it's all push and drive, push and gather, push and drive. Same thing backwards. Okay, I was a DB in college, and I coached a lot of DBs over my years. And same kind of concepts. I know some coaches coach pendulum at the knee, but that's not, and then that may get them back there, but doesn't get them in position to go other directions. So we want to keep the feet underneath us, and we want to be able to push our hips where we need to go. So the first time, just do about 3 or 4 steps. You don't have to go to the numbers. Just do this walking, push the hips, tilt the hip, push and tilt the hip. So you're pushing your hips back as you go. Good, your feet stay underneath you. Excellent. Then come back, pick up the tempo from walk to skip, and same thing. Push, 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 push. Right, right, left, left. Right, right, left, left. Right, right, left, left. Push, push, right, left, left. Right, left, left. Good. And the other thing I didn't have to instruct any of you about when you went to the skip is how to hold your position. You did it, you just dropped into it automatically because you had to be able to load the foot to push. Okay? So now that you can do that, then we can truly do fast back pedals and then get out of those things there because your feet are always underneath you, your hips are always set. Go ahead, try regular back pedal. And be ready, because now you're really pushing your hips. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, how we doing? Perfect. Because now all we're going to do is go to starts. Okay? And hope with 11 minutes we can actually really get going good at this. And like you asked, all good starters, I said yesterday, do 2 things, which they do. They set their hips, they push off of both feet. But they actually do 3 things. And the third thing is once they've pushed off with both feet, they get that next step back down on the ground. They don't just let it fall. So we'll work the first part. All you're going to do is you're going to come up to the line, and we're going to do what we call squared stance, set. And the reason we go square, it's hard. It's very hard to do a squared stance rather than a stagger or those kind of things. But the reason we're doing it is to get them to understand hip set and hip propulsion. Okay? So if I do this correctly, I'll try to do it in slow motion. I'm getting a set position. So I've set my hips, push off with both feet. I should get to that same position we were on the lean fall run. See if I can hold it without falling on my face. But it's here, and then away we go. Give it a try. There, nicely done. Good. And because we got the hips out there, that's the reason for getting that foot back down on the ground. Attack the ground aggressively. Try it again, one more time. I just said we better only go that way, so let's walk back. Good. Drive the hips. Hips first. Hips first. Good. Good. Nicely done. All right. So then once we get that, then we can go to a staggered stance. You can continue to walk back. I'll just talk to you while you're walking back. But the problem with a staggered stance sometimes, and you see this with wide receivers all the time, or you see it in combine where guys get into a 3-point stance, stuff like that. If I'm here and then I go into a staggered stance, but I put my foot way back here, what's the problem with that? I can no longer push with this leg because my hips are back here. So if I push with this leg, where am I going to go? So that means I have to roll over, and therefore I take away one of the common things of a good starter, is the ability to push with both feet. So how do you get them to understand having a staggered stance, but a correct position and still push off with both feet. Well, here's how we like to do it. Take your shoes and your socks off. And no, I haven't had a pedicure either, so. All right, move these back here. Get where you can see me. Where was my partner? Okay, what's going to happen is I'm going to get behind me. I'm going to get into a staggered stance. For me, I usually know a heel-toe stagger is pretty good if I'm not going to put my hand down. And now I'm going to lift up my heels. Sit down behind me and put your feet underneath my feet. All the way up there, nice, yeah, so there's nice, so my whole back of my foot's on his feet, okay? Now, you're gonna give me feedback. I'm gonna set my hips, I'm gonna push off and accelerate out, okay? Most common thing is you'll feel me really smash your right foot, because that's my back foot, and you won't feel hardly anything on the front foot. That's not what we want. If I'm trying to do this, like we said, push off, set the hips, push off with both feet, then you should feel a smash of both feet as close to the same time as possible. How was that? Okay. A little bit before, but it's, yeah, they're never going to be right together at the same time because of the stagger, but it's close together at the same time. Again, the most common mistake is this, that rollover start, where I just push off with my back foot. You didn't feel anything on this. Yeah, that's the most common mistake. So partner up. Give each other feedback, try it a couple times, and see how it goes. Yep, good hip set. And smash those feet. Good. And then give each other feedback. Oh, I didn't feel anything on this side. Oh, I felt, oh, that was good. Good. And if they don't set their hips and they have a rolling start, you can tell that too, because you don't get any smash at all. Yeah. We're looking at I want your hips 2 meters away. There you go. Good. Don't be nice to your partner. Actually smash the feet. Good. How was it? Yep. I can usually tell without having to ask the partner. If I see, again, hip projection and good finish, it usually means they pushed off with both feet. The other part to pushing off with both feet, and we, as coaches, we used to coach this because some of the best sprinters in the world did it, and so we thought that's what good acceleration is you don't have any of this now. But the reason we used to coach it, because all the great sprinters used to do it, is because we didn't know how to build blocks. Now we would build wider blocks. So none of you right now have put your feet together like this to do this, have you? No, you do it with a hip square action, so you come out with a hip square action. That's the other reason to push off with both feet, is so you don't have this coming out of your acceleration. Let's move down here. This is what we call an acceleration ladder. Those of you that are track coaches, sprint coaches, stuff like that, you know this is a stick drill. A stick drill. Usually, in most situations, like when we work with team sports and stuff like that, the segments is, this first one is about 50 centimeters, and then we add 15 centimeters as we go. So 50, 65, 90, so on and so forth. Okay? The whole idea is to climb the ladder in acceleration. If I wanted to climb a ladder up the wall, I'd have to get my hip above the rung, get my toe and knee up above the rung, and then come down onto the rung. Push mechanics. Same thing here. What I need to do is, we're going to do the lean, fall, run part first, is I just want to get my hips out over in front of this first rung and then push back on it. The beauty of doing this barefooted with these kind of feedback mechanisms is now you don't really have to coach, are they pushing back on the ground or are they doing the right mechanics? If I get out here and I don't feel anything behind my foot at all, I don't feel a rung of the ladder, then that lets me know I just let the foot fall. I didn't really actively participate in attacking the ground from above like we've been doing from the very first rehearsal drill. If I feel the rung on the first part of as I'm going along, I feel the rungs on the front half of my foot, that tells me I'm getting a little backside mechanics and I'm not really getting hip tilt when I accelerate. What it should feel like is just like it feels like if you climb a regular ladder. You feel it right under the main portion of the front half of your foot and you roll out with it. Just give it a try. Yeah, so it should look something like so. You should see straight line stick figure and push, 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 push. Out. 2, great. Got a little backside on it, yep. I got it. It's just a great feedback mechanism for pushing back. So see, he didn't feel any rung, so he could have pushed back better. He was just kind of letting the foot fall.
Is the 15-centimeter first step to a bigger first step and just getting your hips?
So, like I was just watching him do it, and he didn't hit any rungs, but he's done this before, he's accomplished. So what we do when we get accomplished accelerators or sprinters is we actually measure their trochanter length, and each of our sprinters has a different thing. But for when I'm working with football teams, basketball teams, it's kind of set up in this. And sometimes I want them to feel like, holy shit, I really got to push back. I want them to feel that. So I even have a smaller ladder that everybody goes through in the early part of the season, and then we graduate to this from there. But then the other beauty of it is, so instead of lean, fall, run, we can do staggered stances into it. We can straddle the line, do open step. You can do crossovers, anything where the hips have got to get going first. We can be here, do drop steps. You can do all those different things that we just worked on from walk to skip to, and then accelerate out of it from there. And it just, again, it's immediate feedback for the kid. Wait a minute, I didn't feel that in the right spot. Well, it's because you weren't doing the straight line stick figure thing, and now you can correct it. Make sense? Thank you very much.